This is Rikke from Rice Designs. I'm here with my second design team project for JunkWithSteph. This is my July project, and for this month I've chosen a kit from Stephanie's shop, which is called These Magic Moments. And I'll just show you some of the pages I'm going to work with today, because they are truly beautiful. Here's a book page thingy with some damask looking pattern. Here's a page with some roses and some grunginess. And here's more grunginess with a lovely lady and some pink details. There's this one as well with pink details. And here's another one with some damask pattern. So these are some of the pages I'm going to work with today. And what the project will be about is actually to make a journal, just a tiny journal, which will allow me to have it with me, bring it with me wherever I go, just to have something to scribble things down in when I need to. And I have these avocado dyed paperbacks, which I actually think goes really great along with those pink details and the backgrounds in those papers. So I've got 3 paperbacks, and they look like this from the beginning they were glued down together here, and then there's these on the side where it can be wider. And on these 2 here, I've already glued together the sides and glued this flap down here again. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that on the last one here, and then I'll come back to you afterwards. So now all 3 paperbacks are closed in the places I want them to be closed. So inside they look like this now. And what I'm going to do, let me just put this aside. I want this to be the cover actually, or yeah, I want this to be the cover, these 2 here. And I just need to measure which the maximum height can be. And it's something like this. And I don't want them to be that high, but it's good to know. So I actually think I'm just go ahead and give it a cut here, and then I'm going to cut off this bottom here where this fold is, because it's just too bulky. So now the backs are actually cut into size. I might be resizing them a little bit more, but for now they are the size they should be, and it's 6.5 by 7 inches. And what I'm going to do is actually to layer them on top of each other. You can just see here, this piece here, it will actually make a great spine. So I'm just putting the pieces on top of each other like this, and I'm actually just going to glue them together because I know that's that I will have them glued together anyway. And just as well do that. Like this, maybe. Oh, it will hold. Okay, so what we want to do now is to find some pages which should go in here. I was thinking to grab some of my avocado dyed papers to go in here, along with some coffee dyed papers. And what I want to is actually, let me just think. I might as well be putting in some of these thin handmade type of papers, because I really like the texture they add and the feel of them. And I really have a great variety. So it's a bit hard to pick, but I think that will do with those 4. So I just gathered some papers, and these papers actually will not be used for writing. I just want to add them for inspirational purposes. So what I will do now is actually to, let me just check here. It's actually to arrange the papers in the order I want them to be in the journal. And then I'll come back to you. You don't have to watch me organize papers and fold papers. So, see you in a bit. So, now the pages has been cut to fit the size of the cover. And I've put them in order. So, what I'm going to do now is to put the pages away. And then I'm going to focus on the cover. And I really want this, I really like this piece here, this page, and I want it for the cover. So what I'm going to do now is to measure the size of it to fit the cover. Like that. Actually, it's upside down, doesn't matter. And then I'm going to cut it to size. So I'll do that off camera. Now I've inked and cut those pieces here. Let me just take you in a little. So now I'm going to glue them on top of the cover. So I'll just real quick do that, like this. So, and what I want to do now is to ink up the edges of the journal cover. So I will be back afterwards. So, and as I've chosen to make the cover from paperbacks, it actually give us the opportunity of making pockets both front and back. on the cover. So for the front cover, I think I'm going to put some glue along here to form a top loading pocket, like this. And in the back cover, I actually think I'm going to cut this side up here and glue these sides here together to form a side loading pocket. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Like this, and make sure it not sticks anything else down. Like this. And then I'm just taking my X-Acto knife and finding the crease here and just rip it up like you would with a letter, or yeah, you know. So maybe I should have done it after I've glued the two sides together, but it's too late now. So I just realized that the spine wasn't actually sticking on the inside, and we want that. So I just ran a little glue along. And then I'm running a little glue along the bottom and the top of the back cover. And what I want to do as well is to get rid of this flap here. So I'm just cutting it off. So, and then I think just like that. So that flap I just cut off, it left a little piece too much of the front piece of the back cover, but it doesn't bother me, so I'll just leave it there. I don't even think I can ink it up because it's some sort of plasticky. Yeah, it's okay, doesn't bother me. So now we have our top loading pocket in the front and our side loading pocket in the back. And what I was thinking was to create a sort of band around the cover like this with the third paperback I've got. But you see, it's way too wide for fitting the cover. So I was thinking to cut along here to get this dyeing pattern to get to use that. So let me just come back. So now I've cut the back, and I'm going to glue this flap down to one side just to make sure it doesn't, whatever comes in the pocket doesn't get stuck in that flap. So you can see here now, when I've opened up a back, that it's actually plastic-ish inside. So it's not all paper. It's not all a paperback, but it doesn't matter. It actually just helps the back not tear. Just it has sort of the same effect that Tyvek has. So it's actually just a great thing. So now I'm going to fold it in half like this to make it fit around the cover. It fits perfectly, as you can see. And I'm going to ink up the edges of this flap. So see you afterwards. So now it has been inked up. So now we need to decide which type of pocket we want from this flap. And I was actually thinking of making them both side-loading pockets like this. So I think what I'm going to do is actually just to glue let me just zoom out a little. It's actually just to glue along with the top of both sides like this, and then it should make 2 side-loading pockets. It should not. It will make 2 side-loading pockets. I know that. I know how glue works. So and actually we could decorate this flap with just putting some paper on top, but I really like the look of this splash, or what you would call it. So I think we'll leave it to that. But we need to cover up the inner covers as well. And for that I was thinking of this book page damask paper. So let me just measure again, like with the front cover, which size it could be. And let's see, like that. So I'll just cut it and I'll be back. So now I've cut and inked up these 2 pieces. So now I'm going to glue them down to the cover to make a pretty inside of this journal. Like this. So now we have Stephanie's beautiful paper on the outside, front and back, and Stephanie's beautiful paper on the inside, front and back. So what's up next? I think actually the next step is to put this on top, and I think I'm going to run it through my sewing machine just to make sure it stays. So I'll just do that off camera and then I'll be back. So now the flap is sewed to the cover, and while I had my sewing machine out, I thought that I just could sew in my signatures as well, but it turned out that there's too many pages to run it through my sewing machine. So I'm going to sew it by hand as I would with a normal journal. But yeah, I will do some sort of 3 pamphlet stitch, but I will try to not come over this flap. I will make the stitches inside here. So I'm not going to sew on these two flaps edges here where I didn't sew with the machine, if that makes sense. You'll see, otherwise you'll see when it's done. And actually, I know it might be a little weird, but I would love to sew with this sari silk because it matches up perfectly with the colors of the journal. So now I'm going to grab my awl and I'm going to try to punch some holes, and hopefully it will work as I hope. But maybe I will try using a book just to yeah, you'll see. So I'm grabbing this huge book and I'm choosing a page where the pages are stuck, not falling off. And then I'm actually just laying the whole thing down here. It works just as a book cradle, or what they're called, but I haven't got one of those, so I just use this big old book. Let me just put this aside, and then I am going for a needle, and then this hopefully will work. I think it will. So I'm just using a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and I'm sure all of you guys know that, but otherwise I'll just show you quickly how to do it. You go in through the middle hole from the inside and you leave a tail, and then you go in through the top hole from the outside to the inside. And it's a lot easier when you don't use string with tassels. Like that. Then you go from the top hole to the bottom hole, from the inside to the outside, like this. And you want to make sure that the string isn't loose anywhere, because then your pages will just, what it's called, just they won't stay in the wow. The pages won't stay in their places if you don't tighten the string. Wow, I can't speak. Well, from the bottom hole on the outside, you go to the middle hole, from the outside to the inside, and I hope I come up in the same hole, otherwise I've done something wrong. I think my pages have just moved around. Oh, that's what it's called when you're not tightening the string. Your pages will move around. Like that. And then you want your string to go on the other side of that middle string. because let me just get this through. Let me just tell you that I wouldn't recommend sewing with a real yarn. Great, it did work out at last. So now we want to tighten up the strings. Just carefully, because you don't want the papers to tear. But one string on each side of the middle, and then you just tie a double knot or a triple knot, what you would prefer. And then you can cut your tails or leave them as long as you want. But I prefer to have the shorter tails, so I'll just cut them to be short. And then actually the papers are in the journal, like that. And we need to make a closure, because you can see for yourself, it will open automatically by itself, and it doesn't. We don't want that. So let me move this book aside. What I was thinking was to attach some eyelets. I don't think I have some rose gold to... No, I haven't. But instead we could use these beautiful eyelets with pattern. I think they're just gorgeous. Like that. And then I'm just closing up this tin. And then I need to grab my crocodile to punch a hole. And I don't want the I will only make a hole through the top piece of the flap. Otherwise, the pocket won't have a function. So I'm just marking approximately the middle. There. And then I'm going to punch a hole. Like that. And now we want to add those eyelets to it. So we're just pushing. Like this. The first one and the second one. And what we want to do now is to add the same string as we sewed with this sari silk. No, Aerial yarn. So I'm going from the front. Like this. And holding a piece and wrapping around and wrapping around. Maybe it was a little too long, this piece here. So holding a piece, wrapping around, wrapping around, wrapping around. And then, oh, I forgot the back eyelet. Okay, to the back side, through the eyelet, like this, and then wrapping around, wrapping around, wrapping around, And then we're going to tie a bow. Like that. Cut off the tail. So this is what the cover looks like. Front and back. And what's up next is actually to decorate the inside using some of Steph's beautiful papers and add-ons. So we'll just do that. So we need to decorate inside the journal. We don't need to, but we want to. So I've been cutting out some of the beautiful elements from Stephanie's kit. And I just want to show you some of the pieces. Here's a beautiful bird cave. I don't know what this is called, but you know what it is. And I was actually thinking of making this a tag because it's so easy to just punch a hole up here. And here's some collaging journaling card tags, something with some tickets on, and I really love those. I think they're just gorgeous. And here's the same lady as I showed you on some of the pages. Here's a nice little bird in some sort of grungy style. And here's just some tags or journaling cards or what you would want to use them for. And here's a bingo card with a little flower. And here's a tag. And I've also cut out some labels to just write on. And as I said, I was actually thinking of making this bird cave. What is it called? A tag. Let me just zoom you in a little. So, so I'm starting. Whoops. I'm starting off by inking up the edges. Or maybe, no, just a second. I'm actually going to back it with some cardstock just to make it a little sturdier. So let me just do that real quick. So now it's cut out, backed with some cardstock, and I've inked the edges up. So actually I'm going to just tie this up. And then I'm going to punch a hole in this one with my crocodile, like this. And then I'm going to punch a hole in this one as well. Like that. And then I'm going to find a thread that will fit. And actually, maybe we should go for this one. It fits very nicely with the theme of the journal. And then I'm just going to attach it to this flap, like this. And then it looks like this. I really like that, actually. Great. So I was thinking of maybe adding a pocket, or you could, of course, we already have a pocket on the cover. So maybe it's just that we're going to use. And actually this tag fits absolutely amazing in there. So I'm just going to back this with some cardstock and ink the edges up, and then I'll be back. So I've backed the 2 tags. Yeah, I just had one last time we saw each other, but I decided to just use another one of those beautiful tags because this journal, as I said in the beginning of the video, is actually for me to have something with me when I'm out, where I can put thoughts and observations and ideas or anything I would want. So because of that, it's actually nice to have something to just ready to write on and just to put anywhere I want them in the journal. So I haven't punched out those holes, so I'll just do that. I hope that this will, it will reach in and it fits almost perfect to the white circle on the tag. So I just have to punch it. So, and the other one as well. Punch. So now these tags are actually ready for some string or some ribbon, and I was thinking of maybe excuse me, maybe using some of my seam binding, crinkled seam binding. Maybe this color here. Let's see. For this one here, I was thinking of tying a bow. And I just have to look and see how this will look, if I like it. And I really like it. So that's the one tag. And then I'm just going to, yeah. And which one should we choose? This one, maybe? Or this one? I think we're going for the green one. So, like that. I'm just cutting off. Excuse me. So, actually that's what I want to do with those tags, because I think they're truly beautiful. Stephanie just did an amazing job designing these tags. So, we're actually just putting them inside of this front cover pocket because they fit perfectly in there, like that. Yeah. So what's up next? I really want to add this bird. I really think he's gorgeous. So maybe I should just find a page. Maybe here. He's just very big. But maybe it's okay. I'm just going to ink him up like that. To make some sort of collaging. And I was wondering if I could add this piece of ticket or measuring tape, or I actually don't know what it is, but I really love it. It's nice and grungy and vintage. So just take one piece, a little piece more off. See here? Yeah, that could work. Let me just lamp this aside of this. But we need something more. Maybe some of this just recycled paper. My mom, which also is a paper crafter, she bought a whole bunch of this recycled paper, and yeah, so she gave it to me, and I really love the look of it, so I'm very pleased with that. So maybe it should just be a whole page thing, because it's very big. Or maybe we should just use the lady instead. Actually, I like that as well. I think we're going for the lady, so I'll just ink her up. So I just did glue everything down, and here's what it looks like. I really like how this turned out, actually. I'll just zoom out a little. So. And what's up next? So I just wrote inspiring and inked the edges up. And I chose inspiring because after all, that's what this journal is about, to be inspired. So that's what I'm hoping for when I start using this journal. So I'm just adding this inspiring to a page where I just add a little piece of this measuring tape or what it is underneath, just to make some interest. And then I'm putting the label on top like that. And so I think maybe I could use the rest of this bingo card to make a pocket where I could add these two pieces. Like this, and I'm of course inking up to get rid of the white edge. And then I'm running some glue along the sides and the bottom, like this. And to make sure it sticks, I'm just pressing it like this and getting rid of any excess glue. So I need to punch the holes in here, so I'm just doing that real quick, and then they're ready to go in here to journal on when this are getting to be used. And actually I think I just want to add this journal card or bingo card here to the back pocket, as well as this journaling card tag-ish, just to have them there to have something to journal on when I need. Because actually I don't want to add so much more into this journal, because it's actually meant for writing. So I'm thinking to do a quick flip through. And I will of course link Stephanie's Etsy shop below, and I will link this kit, a magic moment. These magic moments, sorry. I will link it down below. And yeah, so this was my DT project for July. I hope you liked it, and thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much, every single one of you. Thank you, and have a nice day. See you next time. Bye.